So, hello everyone, and welcome back to STW Sports. I'm host Samuel Wright, and I'm joined by former Republic of Ireland and Manchester City left back Terry Phelan. Well, Terry, pleasure to have you on. Welcome to the show, and we're just going to ask some questions about your footballing career. Starting off with your time at Leeds United, where you started out in the academy before eventually breaking into the first team.
I did, yeah. Listen, it was gee whiz. I was only saying the other day about Eddie Gray and Alan Clark, who obviously Alan Clark brought me to Ellen Road as a 11, 12-year-old. And I can fondly remember it very well as, going up there, I think it was around about Christmas time, for trials. And I remember picking the ball up just on the halfway line and running with it. I got probably 25 yards out and I hit one in the top corner. And I think that sealed the deal. I was only 12 years of age. So I think they seen something from me and then, but just before that, Manchester City had come in with a 4-year offer for me at 12 years of age. But obviously I decided to, move away from Manchester and go to Leeds because there was like a rebuilding. Manchester City was in the old first division, Leeds was in the old second division. And it was a rebuilding project. So, and a couple of other people who I knew went there, like John Sheridan, Darren Sheridan, a good friend of mine, Mark Russell, and also it made life a little bit easier, but it was a great experience going to Leeds. I learned an awful lot playing with some legends of players. Obviously, Alan Clark, when he was there and manager, then Eddie Gray took over, and people like in the squad was like Peter Lorimer, Dave Harvey, Frank Gray, Peter Barnes, Trevor Cherry, you can go on Terry Connor, Andy Ritchie, Arthur Graham. You could go on and on and on with the amount of experience in us around you, even as a young kid playing in the reserves and all. The amount of experience what was around you, and the guidance you got then, which I don't think they actually get now in this day and age. It's a different format, a different philosophy, and you had to grow up very early. So it was a great chance. Met some lovely people and ended up playing for Leeds when I was around about the 17 years of age in the first team. So yeah, I really enjoyed that. It was absolutely fantastic. Like I said, the help we got from the people who we lived in digs with, Kath and Trev, who are no longer with us now, and their family. It was really good for me. Getting out of Manchester, coming away from Manchester, and going playing for an iconic club like Leeds United.
And also a brief spell at Swansea City as well. What's your memories of your time in Wales?
Oh, I think that was great. Listen, first and foremost, my experience at Leeds United and the fans was brilliant. Such a young lad breaking into a team like that, and then obviously. To Swansea. I got released from Leeds through Billy Brenner. Obviously, thought I was too small to be a fullback or a winger or whatever. And I had no hesitation. I was gutted to leave. I didn't want to leave. I thought I could have stayed there. I wanted to stay there for the rest of my life. I enjoyed it. I had fans. The fans was great. But then I got released and I went back home to Manchester and I thought to myself, well, what do I do now? I've never been in this situation before. So I get a call off Bobby Gould at Bristol Rovers, and I get a call off Terry Orif. Ironic, isn't it? Terry Orif used to play for Leeds, great midfielder for Leeds. And Tommy Hutchinson, who used to play for Manchester City, who I could have signed for anyway. So I think you need a little bit of luck. So I had no hesitations, went down to Swansea and cracked on. I had a fantastic year at Swansea, the first year. I come back after pre-season and Terry says, listen, you've been great for us. We want you to sign a 2-year deal. I signed a 2-year deal. It was absolutely fantastic. And 2 weeks into that, he turned around and said, we're selling you to Wimbledon. I said, Wimbledon where? He said, Wimbledon, in London. I said, they don't have a club. It's all about tennis at Wimbledon. He said, no, they have a little club down there, Terry, and we're selling you. I think it was around about the 90,000, 100,000 mark. Not bad for a club like Swansea getting me for nothing. And you know what? I really enjoyed Swansea and I didn't want to leave there either. I wanted to stay there. The fans was fantastic. I was playing fantastic football. Obviously, I had a good mentor in Tommy Hutchinson and Terry Orif. And I was in digs again, and it was just absolutely fantastic. And I always remember Leeds and Swansea. I may not talk about them too much, but they're always in the heart. Yes.
Yeah, and of course, so we'll touch on the time at Wimbledon as well. You were part of the Wimbledon team who shocked Liverpool in the 1988 FA Cup final, of course. What's your memories of your time at Wimbledon? I mean, obviously, often referred to that team as the Crazy Gang. What was your memories of your time there?
Well, if I'm really honest with you, I remember travelling up from Swansea, and we went to Plough Lane. If you've ever been to Plough Lane, the old Plough Lane, I don't know if you ever went to the old Plough Lane.
No, I never
went. It was a small little tight pitch, and I'd never been there before. We didn't have internet and all that there. You Google Map and all this, so you couldn't really see it. I turned up and I went. You come from Leeds to Swansea, relatively big clubs, big stadiums, and you come to Wimbledon. I'm thinking, all right then, let's see what happens here. And I remember sitting in these cabins as offices, and I thought, this is different. You usually go through doors into big offices where the reception is, Leeds and Swansea. I thought, all right then. So I sat there for 3 hours and nobody actually come. And I thought, am I in the right place here? And then Mr. Bobby Gould comes in and he says, oh, welcome. He was just testing me straight away. 3 hours. Oh, welcome to Wimbledon there. Let's have a chat. And I thought to myself, hang on a minute. You're going to be training tomorrow. So we'll get you some gear. We've got you somewhere to stay. That's it. And that was it. And I turned up on the first day and I looked around the dress room and I thought to myself, holy smoly, what have I walked into here? My word. I'd never seen anything like it before. People's clothes getting cut up if the clothes was, too loud or too low kind of thing, and they come on and cut your socks up, cut your tops up, and I'm thinking, take your soap bag out and throw stuff in it, and I'm thinking, what's going on here? And to tell you the truth, it took me 6 months to settle in, and I'm thinking, I can't handle this. And I was very quiet anyway. I remember Vinnie Jones coming up to me one day and he says, what's your nickname? And I said, they call me, my name's Terry Phelan. He said, oh, I know that. He said, but what's your name? I said, Philo. He says, well, where'd you get that nickname from? I said, I played for Leeds. He said, you played for Leeds? I said, I played for Leeds. He went, really? I said, oh, yeah. I said, I've played for the great Leeds United. He went, well, welcome on board. This is different. You're at Wimbledon now. This is not bigger than Leeds. You're at Wimbledon, so you need to get on with it. I said, all right then, Vin, no problem at all. But I'm going to tell you something now. It took me 6 months to break into the family. I remember playing in a game against Newcastle. I said, hell to it. I'm going to just let loose. And this is going to be me. And it was absolutely brilliant. And I always remember that game against Newcastle. I went into the change room, a little small, tight ground, Plough Lane, if anybody knows it. And a lad's come around me and said, welcome to the family. And I knew then that this was the start of something. And you had to be different. You had to be one of them in a nice way. And I was never one for cutting up clothes or anything like that. I was very quiet, but they respected that. And I have never met a bunch of lads who was so family orientated and in the dressing room and on the field, and we looked after each other, and we give 101%. We looked after each other's back, even in the bad times when things wasn't going well. We sort of like scraped it together, and I think the 5 years at Leeds and winning the FA Cup, Wimbledon and winning the FA Cup was made me probably the player I actually turned into.
I mean, just touching on the final, of course, against Liverpool. I mean, a great Liverpool team, of course, in the 80s. What was it like going into that final and, of course, winning? Well,
to tell you the truth, it started off kind of low key. We was riding high in the old first division there. I think it was in the top 10, round about the 6th, 7th position. So we was doing quite well. We had plenty of confidence about us, a little bit of good old nostalgia and commitment and focus. And we said, listen, let's just have a go of it. We had two great coaches, Don Howe and Bobby Gould. They was around then. We had some wonderful players, as you know, if you go back then. And we said, let's just go out there and let's have a go of it. Round after round after round. And I think we played Newcastle at St James's Park in the quarterfinals. And we said, we've got a chance here. And we ended up beating them. And they had a great side. Merendina, Gascoigne. They had a great side. And we ended up beating them. I think it might have been 2-1. I'm not too sure. And then the next round was finals against, it could have been, I think it was Liverpool, Notts Forest, Luton or us. And we got a lucky draw, to tell you the truth. We got Luton at White Hart Lane. We thought, hang on, we went 1-0 down in so many minutes. We thought, this is going to be an uphill battle. And remember Dennis Wise scored a great goal. I think Fash or Alan Cork scored that Terry Gibson, not too sure. We ended up winning 2-1. We're in the final of the FA Cup. We're looking at the teletext back then, by the way. And so we ended up Liverpool and we're thinking, aye, this is going to be one, isn't it? We always give them a game, but, you know, there was things thrown around the dressing room like, oh, yeah, we could get beat 5-0, you know, just keeping our hopes up that we don't get beat more than 5-0, you know. 5 will be enough, like, on that day. Great Liverpool side. And listen, you know, we used to travel around in a minibus, a little minibus around London, you know, get picked up for the games, all shoved in a minibus with the kit off to White Hart Lane, wherever it was in London. And I think the owner got offered around about £250,000 to travel to Wimbledon, Wembley, in the minivan. And the owner says, no, we've got to do it right. We're going to travel on a bus because you had the TVs on there and a bit of banter. And, you know, as a young boy, playing in an FA Cup final was always your dream. But I never thought I'd play in one with Wimbledon. And I never thought I'd play in one against Liverpool, who you used to watch through the 70s. Man City's my team, but used to watch him through the 70s. They was always on the TV. They was always there and winning European Cups and everything like that. They was the team of the moment. And I thought, shit, I'm actually going to be going out there in front of 100,000 fans on a hot May summer's day. 4 or 5 years ago, I would have been watching this at home or kicking a ball about. And I'm actually playing here now with Wimbledon. And we've got a great chance. And I still get goose pimples now. And it was me who set a little bit of the goal up. Dennis Wise flicked it in. And then history's made with, obviously, Laurie Sanchez putting it in the back of the net with a little flick on header. And obviously, Dave Besson saving that penalty. But we had a bit of luck. Luck was on our side all the way through the qualifying rounds and to the final. And, you know, to go there and beat the mighty Liverpool, who was on for the double. And if they would have been in Europe, they probably would have won the European Cup then, which is the Champions League now. If we would have been in Europe and all, we could have done very well in Europe because a lot of teams wouldn't have liked coming to Plough Lane. But it was absolutely brilliant. The day was brilliant. The spectacle was brilliant. But like I said, from a young boy, when you're watching it, and don't forget, I was 21 years of age. You know, 4 years previously, I was watching it on TV. And, you know, if you go another 4 years previous to that, I was on the streets in Manchester kicking a ball about. So it just shows you what can be done with a little bit of luck. But great day. Yeah, and I think it's written there in history now.
Absolutely. And then you did move to Manchester City, as you said, were your boyhood club, 2.5 million at the time, equalled the British record transfer fee for a defender. Memories at Man City? I mean, obviously, boyhood club. Did you enjoy your time there at Man City?
I thought it was absolutely brilliant. My time was up at Wimbledon. I'd done 5 years there. I'd given everything he had, and it was time now to go and taste a little bit different. You know, a club like Manchester City, the stature, it was in a rebuilding mode. Obviously, you know, when you looked at Manchester City, why I went to Leeds in the early stages, because they was buying players for £1 million back then, you know, in the early 80s and the late 70s. And I thought, well, you know, not that I didn't respect myself as a player. It was more or less, let me build myself up as a player, go somewhere, you know, where I've got a chance of getting in the first team, where it's, you know, players that are a little bit older, and that was at Leeds. Going to Manchester City for that type of summer money, I thought was absolutely madness. I thought it was madness. I thought the owner was absolutely mad, Sam Hammond. And I had an array of clubs: Barcelona, Manchester United, Everton, Glasgow Rangers, Crystal Palace, Bolton, Ajax, Leeds United again. There was an array of clubs who come in for me, and Celtic, but the price was too low. 1.5 million, 1.5 millions, 1.5 millions. I remember Johan Cruyff being on the phone. We'll give you 1.5 million for him, but it wasn't enough. Obviously, Sam Haman valued me a lot more, and at the last minute, Crystal Palace come in, but that would have been a disrespectful to Wimbledon, being South London clubs. And Peter Reid come in for me because he just bought Keith Curl and all, and he was rebuilding. He was building a side, and I thought, I love the project. Going somewhere. He was telling me the players who they're going to buy, who he was going to get in, the players who they had in there: David White, Tony Coton, Niall Quinn, Steve McMahon, obviously Keith Curl there, young Gary Flitcroft coming through, Fitzroy Simpson. So he was building something, you know. And I thought, yeah, I love the project. 2.5 million. There's only a few clubs who are coming in from that. I'm going to my boyhood club, Manchester City. And when I first ran out in front of that Kippax, I played in front of big crowds, and I never felt anything like it. I'd played at Anfield. I'd played in, the biggest stadiums. I played at Leeds. But running out in front of that Kippax, when you come out of that tunnel, even to this day, it puts my hair stand up. It was just amazing. And one thing I said to myself is, I'm going to work even harder than I've ever worked, because it's the supporters who've paid that type of money, and I can't let them down. Every game I went out, I tried to give 110%. Whether people liked the sum, they didn't like the sum, they thought it was a waste of money. I tried to give 100%, and I absolutely loved it. And there was another club I thought, I need to stay here for the rest of my career now and get on with it. And then obviously the next year, Peter Reid gets the sack, and you think to yourself, where's this going? And then it was manager after manager. There was no consistency. And it was sad, really, because you look at what they're doing now, and it's absolutely brilliant. And it's I take my hat off to the owners who have come in. Yeah, they had money, but all other clubs have had money, and I root for them every day, every year, every month, every minute, every second. And it was a dream to go back there and play for them, play for your boyhood club, and it was fantastic. I really enjoyed my time there, and I didn't enjoy when I got sold. I didn't want to get sold, but for untold reasons, maybe it was a lack of funds, and they wanted some funds in, which is understandable.
Yeah, and also a goal you scored in the FA Cup for Manchester City against Tottenham Hotspur. Many people say that was the best goal of your career. Talk us through that goal, a really good individual solo goal. I mean, obviously very rare at left back. Often, especially back then, usually do stuff like that. But great solo goal, and one you must remember fondly.
Well, I did really, but I scored a few goals for Wimbledon. I remember scoring a diving header against Grimsby in the FA Cup. I think it was about the 4th round or something like that. And, I scored 1 or 2 decent goals, not a lot, but I think, we was playing in the quarterfinals against Tottenham. And, when you're there and you're thinking, yeah, we've got a great chance here. We're at home, playing in the quarterfinals. We've got a great chance. We'd already beat Tottenham that year anyway. So we've got a great chance of really going in there and doing something. We're cruising the game. We'll go 1-0 up at half time. 1-0 up at half time. There's no problems. Nothing's, we're all set. We're going at half time. We come out a completely different game. Before we know it, we're 3-1 down, 4-1 down. And, that little glimmer of hope and that dream is fading and fading. And I remember Tony Coton picking the ball and said, T, just throw the ball out to me. And I picked it up just probably about maybe 10 yards outside my own 18-yard box, just on the left-hand side. I thought, you know what? I'm just going to go for it. And it was going to happen because I was doing it in other games, but not scoring, laying the ball off wide or putting players through. And I thought to myself, I'm just going to have a go here. And it just opened up. And I just thought, oh, it's going good. It's going good here. And before I knew it, I was in front of the goalkeeper. I think it was Mr. Walker. I was in front of him, and I just slid it in the bottom corner. 4-2. you know what? It was just more about giving the supporters something, a little bit of hope and a little bit of glimmer. And all the hard work I'd put in that year, I thought to myself, it caps it off for me, but it doesn't really cap it off for the supporters of Manchester City. And I remember going in the next day, all the players went for a jog round of what could have been. And it was sad, really, because I thought that year we could have really done well with Peter Reid, you know, and if he would have been given enough time, I'm sure we would have been up there.
Yeah, and after that, you moved to Chelsea. Obviously, I know you didn't really play regularly at Chelsea, unfortunately. What was your thoughts on your time there in West London?
Well, listen, you know, when Glenn Hoddle comes in for you, and he's got a plan, and he's got a blueprint, and he wants you to play as a wing back, which I didn't mind doing. And he had Dan Petrescu on the other side again. He had Gianfranco Sola in, Ruud Gullit in, Roberto Di Matteo in, Gianvale Vialli in there, Dennis Wise, my old teammate, in there. You know, you look around and you think, Mark Hughes, ex-Manchester United, you think, hang on a minute, we're going somewhere here. I actually like this project. No, I didn't want to leave Manchester City, but I thought, I like this project. This could be good. I went to Chelsea, I remember, injured from Manchester City. So that took a little bit of time. The bad hamstring injury took a little bit of time. But once I got playing, I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was like absolutely brilliant, because I could have joined. Chelsea was one of the clubs I could have joined from Wimbledon. I think Ian Porterfield was there. I think he brought Dennis Wise there. Dave Bessett went there, and I think Vinnie Jones went there. So I looked around the dressing room. I thought, hang on a minute, this is absolutely brilliant. You know, we're going to win things. It's going to be good. And then Glenn Hoddle goes and leaves. He takes the England job, and I'm thinking, wow, is it me who's getting the managers to leave, or is it just one of those probably, I don't know, in the wrong place at the wrong time, whatever you want to say. So, you know, really, it was just a matter of, you know, knuckling down. Ruud Gullit took over. I was in and out. Obviously, one or two little injuries in and out. Fell out of favour a little bit. He didn't want me to leave, but I wanted first team football, you know. And he said, "Listen, we'll give you first team football. There's no problem with that. Just bide your time and you'll get in there." And I didn't really bide my time, and I really should have bide my time. I was too hesitant. I wanted to play. That I was made to be a footballer, and I wanted to play. I didn't want to sit in the stands. I just didn't want to pick my wages up. I just didn't want to go in training. I wanted to play. And I obviously, I left at a good time when they started to win things. And it haunts me a little bit, that, because I did leave at the right time, the wrong time, because they went on to win trophies. But at the end of the day, if you're not playing, you've got to look after yourself. So that was that. No hard feelings. Loved Chelsea, loved the fans, loved West London. Obviously playing down there at Wimbledon. So yeah, a wonderful club, and still is, and always a wonderful club.
And you also had spells as well at the likes of Everton, Crystal Palace on loan, Fulham as well, and Sheffield United. Again, all them clubs, you know, obviously Everton, you did unfortunately suffer a bad injury. What are your memories of playing at them clubs? And of course, winning promotion with Fulham in 2001.
I think it was absolutely brilliant. Listen, I always said to myself, going there, if a club's going to pay money for you, go in there and give 100%. I was a quiet lad, and that's all I did. And I had belief in myself to go in there. Obviously, Everton had an injury to Andy Hinchcliffe. He'd done his ACL. So they knew there was a little bit of unrest down with me down at Chelsea. And the big man, Joe Royal, said, look, get up here. You'll be in the team. Willie Donachie and all said, you'll be in the team. Get playing. And again, you look at it, you go into the dressing room, there's Anders Limpar there, big Duncan Ferguson, Dave Watson, Neville Southall, Gary Speed, Nicky Barmby. And you're thinking to yourself, hang on a minute, this you know, they was in a little bit of trouble, but we could build on something. But, you know, I played well, it was great, things was going well, and then I get a little cartilage problem, and that turned into, you know, a bit of a nightmare. I don't think it got looked after as it should have got looked after. I didn't manage it right. I was too hesitant to get back and playing, and it took a little bit of time. And then obviously Joel Royal left, Howard come in. I was in and out because Andy come back. And then obviously Howard leaves, and then Walter Smith comes in. And at that time, I'm injured. I'm playing my way back. I'm getting in and out of the team. I go down on loan to Crystal Palace. Absolutely loved it with Stevie Coppell. Played out my skin. Thought, I'll go back to Everton. I've got a great chance now. You know, man of the match, probably 90% out the games I played for Crystal Palace. Loved the fans. Obviously, they knew me. And I could have signed for Crystal Palace, but I just don't think they had the money. You know, and Steve Coppell said, look, we haven't got the money to afford your wages. If you take a wage cut, I'll sort it out. But, they was going through a funny stage then, Palace, but a lovely, wonderful club. And I went back in play. We don't know. We've got a young lad coming through. I said, oh, that's great. Then, is there any chance of me leaving? So Crystal Palace come in for me. Fulham come in at the last minute. I went down to Fulham. I said, listen, I need to play. I'm not getting no younger. I just want to play. Enjoyed my time. The championship there, and I thought to myself, now it's time to maybe pack my bags up and travel abroad and see what's play abroad and start traveling again, and that's what I did. Not taking out. I played for Ireland for near enough 9.5, 10 years and all. So, I'd clocked the miles up, and I thought, I don't want to become a journeyman popping around from club to club. I had a little stint at Sheffield United just to keep me fit before I went to America under Neil Warnock. Again, Keith Curl was there. Great set of lads, great club, great fan base. So I can honestly say, even little Wimbledon, the fan base was a lovely set family. Everyone I've played for, I've tried to give 100% and really enjoy it. And I enjoyed every club. There wasn't a club I didn't enjoy, to tell the truth. It was about football and playing in front of some wonderful fans. And I say wonderful fans because they're all wonderful fans because they all put their hand in the pocket to pay the wages. And you've got to give 100%. So when I left the club, it wasn't because I didn't like the fans of the club. It's because I wanted to play football. And I didn't want to sit in the stand picking my wages up. That wasn't for Terry Phelan. So I think he had a tidy career. Won one or two things and played in a World Cup for my country. So, I won't complain.
Yeah, we'll ask you about your time abroad actually as well in USA and New Zealand. What was it like playing abroad really, and how do you think them leagues were different to the English leagues?
Obviously, they were still growing leagues. If you look at the Charleston Battery and over in America, it was still growing. They'd tried one or two formats back in the 70s and the 60s and the early 80s and the 90s. And things was changing in America. Things was improving in America. The US Football Federation was doing a lot of coach education, especially at the grassroots levels within the clubs and the schools. Coaches was getting better. There was better organisation within the clubs. And I remember the Charleston Battery coming. I think Chris Ramsey. Yeah, he was. He was the coach at the time. He seen me playing at Fulham in the reserves. He says, the 34, 35 years of age, the way you're playing in the reserves, do you want to come over? I went over, said, I absolutely loved it. 2 years I spent there. It's absolutely brilliant. Won a championship over there, which we wanted to do. Missed out the first year, won it the second year. And then, I decided to get into a little bit of coaching, started me coaching. I had to think my first 12-year-old girls team, and I'm like thinking to myself, right, what do I do with these lot? Let's just have fun and let them enjoy it. And I got the bug a little bit then of coaching. I never wanted to be a coach. I just got that little bit of bug, and I thought, listen, people have been good to me in the footballing world, the fans. Let me give something back. Let me give something back to the teenagers, even if it's only a little bit. And that's what I've done. And stayed in America for a few years. Went up to places like Philadelphia, started me coaching with a friend of mine with his group called One-on-One Soccer. We set that up. It's still going now. It's been going for 30 odd years. It's been going, Todd. And then I get a call to go down to New Zealand And I think, well, you know what? I'll have a little bit of that because I love traveling. I'd done my bit in America, went down to New Zealand and stayed there for 6 years, and it was absolutely amazing. I can honestly say the places I've been and the people I've met has been absolutely, I've had a fantastic time, from different cultures to different foods, different playing formats, different coaches. And I really enjoyed it. Yeah, so I went down to New Zealand, went down there as a player coach, and then I went down there as a youth development manager, and then football development manager for football South and New Zealand. And while we was down there, I met a wonderful person called John Herdman, who ended up going over to Canada and revamping Canadian football. And he set up the whole of football down in New Zealand. And I thought, this is a great project to get, in line everything, the schools, the clubs, the federation, the talent centres. And it was great learning for me. And I learned an awful lot in New Zealand with people like John Erdman and Football South and even Otago United and the good people down there. So I can honestly say, coming out of, listen, I'll say this and I'll put this on record. I don't miss playing football. I was meant to be a football player. I played football and I left it at that, and I went into the coaching side of it, into the youth sector, took 1 or 2 first teams. I enjoyed it. But I thought my main goal now is, give something back to the youth. If I can do it, coming from the streets of Manchester and Salford, then why can't these kids do it now? And they've got a lot more than what I had. And yeah, fully enjoyed New Zealand, 6 years. And then in 2009, I get a call to come to India. I'm thinking, India? Really? I come over, I had a look at the project. It was a residential academy at Sesa in Goa. Did my research on Goa. Well, you couldn't get a better place than Goa, could you really? Let's be honest. The smallest state in India. Food's fantastic, culture's fantastic, beaches, sunshine, and the football's amazing, So I went there 2 years, really enjoyed it, come back to England for a couple of years, and then I get another call to come out and be the technical director for the Kerala Blasters, who are in the ISL. I'm thinking, wow, this is great. Come over, met them, loved the project. And when I walked in, my first sort of insight of Indian football, when I walked into the stadium and I seen 65, 70,000 Keralites in the stadium, I thought, hang on a minute, this is different. It was amazing. And I get goose pimples now. It was just a sea of yellow in Kerala. And I'm going to say now, only for this pandemic, if anybody wants to go and see any football, yeah, they've got it in Calcutta with the Calcutta Derby. Go to Kerala. Go and see Kerala football when the Kerala Blasters are playing at home and there's 60,000 fans there. It's absolutely amazing. Seriously. So I was a technical director there for a few years and really enjoyed it. And then obviously I get a call to come up to Bangalore, where I am now at South United Football Club in Bangalore. I get a call to be their technical director. The owners and the CEO show me a project. I'm fully on with it. They show me what they're going to be building. And I went, yeah, I like this. I like the project. I like where the club's going. And it's been absolutely fantastic. And I've been here 2.5 years, 4.5 years down in Kerala. For my reckoning, that's a good old long stint. And then 2 years, 2.5 years previous to that. So coming on 10 years or so in India, to tell you the truth. So really enjoyed it. Enjoyed the people. There's still a lot of work to do here. On the football now with the ISL, obviously the I-League, grassroots program starting, coach education starting with the All Indian Football Federation. It's getting there, but there's still a long way to go. But it is getting there. The national team are doing they're doing okay at the moment. The women's national side just gone to Brazil and had a little tournament over in Brazil. They're doing well, but they've got a chance. But we've got to keep working at it. But I'll be very honest with you. I fully enjoyed playing. but I knew when it was time to come away with it. I played my last game, I think I was 42 years of age for Otago United. So it wasn't too bad, 41, 42, if I'm not right. And I probably played against from 40 to 42 around about 8 or 9 games. But I fully enjoyed it. But I knew then, listen, and I was still coaching. I enjoyed my football. I never have any nightmares that I should still be playing. I left it, and now I've gone into a new life of coaching. I've been doing it for an awful long time now. Still got a lot to learn at 54 years of age.
Yeah, excellent. And my final question for you, Terry, as well. I haven't quite touched on your international career yet with the Republic of Ireland, but you did, of course, play in the 1994 World Cup, and you were in a team which defeated Italy by a goal to nil. Italy, of course, reached the final that year. So, how great was it to play in a World Cup? And obviously, what were your memories in general of making 42 caps for the Republic of Ireland?
Well, I think people forget that I come from an Irish background. My mother was Irish, all her family was Irish, from a little place called Tubbercurry in Sligo on the west coast of Ireland. That was my second home. That's where we visited an awful lot. Any holidays back and forth, with my mother. God bless her soul, who brought 5 of us up. Amazing woman, fantastic woman. And I remember me saying to her one day, "Mum, I'm going to put that Irish jersey on." And I remember getting a call. I was at Leeds and I got a call to play for the youth team. And, I think that was the start of it. I fully enjoyed it. You're playing for your national side at the youth level. And I wanted it to continue, and I worked extra hard to be in that fold. And obviously playing in the youth sides, U18s, U21s, U23s. And then, funny enough, and I always tell this story, when it comes to my national debut, I get a phone call on I think it was a Sunday morning, and I get a phone call. I was at Wimbledon at the time, and it was Mr. Phelan. This is Maurice Setters here. Maurice Setters, who's no longer with us at this present time now. Mr. Phelan, this is Maurice Setters here. We'd like you to get on a plane and come over to Ireland on Monday. We've got a game on Wednesday. We want you to be part of it. I put the phone down. The phone rang again. Ding, ding, ding. Mr. Phelan, this is Maurice Setters here. Assistant manager to the Irish national team. Would like you to get on a plane on Monday. We'll send the flight details over to you. You got a game on Wednesday over in Hungary. I said, Dennis Wise. I said, Dennis. I said, Vinny, which would Vinny Jones, John Paston, you stop messing about, because you, Alan Court, because used to call you up and prank you all the time. Say there was a reporter or a newspaper, and you'd spill everything out, and then they'd take the mickey out of you the next day in the dressing room. And I put the phone down again. I put the phone down twice. The third time I picked it up, I never put it down, because this voice turned around and says, listen, this is Maurice Setters. If you put this phone down one more time, you'll never play for Ireland. This is your final chance. Get on the plane. I said, Maurice, is this really you? He said, yes, it's not Dennis Wise. Yes, it's not Alan Court. Yes, it's not Vinnie Jones or John Fatchew. It's me. Get on the plane. Your tickets are getting sent to you on the plane. If I would have put the phone down that third time, I probably never would have played for Ireland. So it's an ironic story, and history tells you that. Again, group of lads who was absolutely fantastic. The lads who'd played the great Liverpool sides, Man United sides, Roy Keane, Dennis Irwin, again, Niall Quinn, who played at Manchester City with myself, John Aldridge, Ray Houghton, Ronnie Whelan, Packy Bonner, Paul McGrath. I can go on and on and on and on and on. Kevin Moran, Mick McCarthy. When you're a young lad, I wasn't young. I was probably 24 or 25, I think. So that's not really young. And I remember walking into the dining room, and don't forget, I was playing for Wimbledon then, and I'm sat around with Man United, Liverpool, Man City, Arsenal, and I'm thinking, I shouldn't be really here, I remember Big Jack Charlton with his cap on, a big smile. Wee man, glad you're here. You'll do for us. Wimbledon, Vinnie Jones, John Paston, you'll fit into our team. Come on over to our table. And I sat there and I'm looking around, and every player come up to that table and said, welcome to the family. welcome to the family. Remember Mick McCarthy, Packy Bonner coming up to me going, we'll look after you, wee man, don't worry. And true to the word, they looked after me, and it was absolutely amazing. And they got to the 88 Euros, they got to the 90 World Cup, to get to the 94 World Cup and play in a giant stadium in front of 100,000 mad Irishmen and mad Italians on that day, I will never forget. Because again, it's what dreams are made of when you're a young boy. My first World Cup watching it was the 78 World Cup and the 82 World Cup and the 86 World Cup and the 90 World Cup. To be there in the 94 World Cup, and I didn't take it lightly, was absolutely phenomenal. It was absolutely a brilliant, wonderful day. And when that goal of Ray Houghton went in, if anybody watches the video and you see my face, it was like I was dreaming. I seen a ghost. This wasn't really happening. This is the World Cup against the mighty Italians, you know, who I watched win the World Cup. And I'm thinking, this can't be real. And that just capped it off for me. That was just the icing on the cake for me with playing for Ireland. And I played many more games other than that, which was enjoyable. And playing for your country is the best highlight. But playing in the World Cup, you can never take it away from you. So I've had some wonderful times playing football. I'm having some wonderful times now coaching it. I've met some wonderful people. But one thing I've never done is sit there and sulk and go, why am I still not playing? Should I still be earning that money these players are earning now? No, it's their time. I had my time. It's the players' time now. No matter what they earn, they get on with it. They play the best of their ability. They play for the fans. And I'm in a new life with my coaching. Hopefully it lasts for the next 20 or 30 years.
Excellent. Well, that's all the questions I've got for you this afternoon anyway, Terry. But thank you very much for joining me.
No problem.
I hope you enjoyed, and I hope everyone else enjoyed the interview as well. Yeah, thank you very much, Terry. And yes, good luck with the rest of your coaching career.
Cheers. Thank you very much, pal. Top man.